The Press Box, and we're live from the Kampala Serena Hotel. Thank you very much, as always, for joining us. Every Monday at 10 p.m., we bring together the biggest panel in town to discuss some of the biggest sporting issues. And of course, the Kampala Serena Hotel, which is up and open, has always given us the best venue. We are also proudly powered by DSTV. Over the weekend, we were watching a lot of action, a lot of football in there. Arsenal losing out to Aston Villa, playing at the Emirates Stadium. Man United and Chelsea going into big results in there, as we saw a draw between Liverpool and, of course, Manchester City at the Etihad. What that means for the trophy and the title at the end of the season, very open to debate. But as the campaign goes on, here on the Press Box, we shall get you as many updates as we can. Now, the president of the Uganda Golf Union, Mr. Moses Matsiko, is making a return to the press box. The last time he was here, we were talking about the need to resume sport here in the country. Sport is back, I should say, and we should be discussing one of the bigger issues now, the biggest golf tournament in the country. The Uganda Golf Open is back. Mr. Matsiko, first of all, good evening, and a warm welcome to the press box again.
Good evening, Andrew, and good evening, viewers.
It's been a fantastic run, hasn't it? I mean, the last time you were on the show, we were debating if sport will return. Since then, we've seen, I should say, a return of sport. Now you're preparing for one of the biggest golf tournaments. Just take me through the process. How hard has this been for you to return to the calendar, to start the preparations ahead of what should be a very busy schedule now?
Thank you, Andrew. I must say that not only just for golf, all sports disciplines in the country and beyond have suffered extremely heavily with the pandemic. But the good news came in, the opening, the resumption of sports. National Council of Sports worked so hard. Our dear president was in, and the Minister of Health provided the SOPs. So it is extremely good news that we're back. We have suffered, but now we're here, and we're happy to be where we are. Golf happens to be an outdoor sports event, and I must say that we were lucky, extremely lucky, to be amongst the sports disciplines that were given a leeway to open under these strict SOPs. So we're happy, and we're thinking hard.
Let us talk about those SOPs, though. I mean, you're going to host players now. You're going to host a couple of guys who will come in, have to play. There will be caddies in there as well, so the SOPs don't take anyone out of the golf course. How much of a challenge are you having to make sure they're all implemented? How ready is the Uganda Golf Union? How are the preparations going to make sure these SOPs are actually respected at such a crucial time for golf, really?
It is, first of all, the pandemic has threatened life. It's the biggest threat to life. And the first thing we started working on as soon as they opened, the resumption of sports started, was to work on the mindset of the players, the mindset of the caddies, the mindset of all stakeholders, including the facility that is going to host the Open. We had to go deep and say, look, we want the sport to be back, we want this event to take place, but safety under these strict SOPs has to be ensured. And I can bet with you, Andrew, if you go to Uganda Golf Club at Kitante right now, you see that there has been major things that have been put in place to adhere, for total adherence to the SOPs with the Ministry of Health. So it's been tough, yes. It's been, golfers had to learn very quickly on how to adopt and still have the sport in its meaningful way, as and how it should be played.
Tell me an interesting one. Who and how is golf benchmarking?
I must take pride in this and say that it's a big challenge to host this tournament that is forthcoming. But at the same time, I encourage and challenge all the sports disciplines to look at this and see how we're going to do it. Of course, after that event, they can do it better. But the most important thing is that we have put in context on everything we're going to do. We put in context the issue of SOPs. We've made sure that the players in the information packs that have been shared with all the players, local and international, we made sure that the players are aware that on every single step, a move of a foot or feet, the SOPs are in play. So what I encourage other sports disciplines to do is to just come. We're opening up to them through National Council of Sports, learn how this is done, and then they can do and conduct their events even much better.
I'm more interested in the SOPs and what you've told the players and what you've told the fans out there ahead of the tournament as well. I like the fact that you realize COVID is life-threatening. We've lost a couple of lives around the world. So what have you been telling these players then? What have you been telling the fans ahead of a big return? Because there's the excitement of playing golf, there's the excitement of playing the Uganda Open, and then there's the thought about safety. It must be something you've suddenly focused on.
Yeah, honestly speaking, the Open this year, 2020, is going to be largely, virtual. We've engaged stakeholders and sponsors that will ensure that there's live streaming, first of all. Secondly, things like courtesy of shaking of hands is not going to be there. The time between the players has been adjusted accordingly to make sure that at no point one group is going to meet the other. We've worked on the pin we've advanced on how we manage, how you pick the ball after you hole out. We've improvised the device, whereby if you hole a ball, you don't have to touch the ball in the cup. You just have to lift a device, tap on it, and it'll bring your ball out. We have gone as far as the scoring cards. Usually, the scoring cards in golf, you have a card, you have the 3 players or 4 players, everyone is marking on the same card, everyone or 2 players have to sign the same card. This time round, that's not going to happen. So what we will do is that after 2 to 3 holes, we have somebody capturing the scores for the players, and at the end of it, properly, in observation of social distancing, the player will read his scores, the marker, who is also social distancing at that point, will confirm that those are the scores, and then a team that will be using technological devices will be recording those scores. And then those will be posted on the board. That board, either electronic or a hard board. Then if you have an issue with the scores, then there's a team waiting for you to listen for your complaint. So every single thing, almost from the start to finish, there will be sanitizing points. Players will not change caddies unless otherwise. Players, all caddies will wear masks, and players will have masks. And from the start to the end, the SOPs will be in play.
There you go. If you have a question to ask Mr. Moses Matsiko, the president of the Uganda Golf Union, please do that. You can use the hashtag NTV Pressbox and ask him any of the questions, whether it's about the SOPs or the Uganda Golf Open itself. Look, later on in the show, we shall be discussing the Uganda Cranes with Andrew Mangusha and Max Ali. And one of the things we're discussing is South Sudan coming in the country. CAF has said they need 48 hours to make sure all the players are tested. CAF has said they will not be postponing matches in case a player tests positive. You should have enough players in camp. Government is saying 72 hours of testing as well. You have international players coming in. There must be more hard work going in there, no?
100%. All international players must adhere to the 72 prior to the event testing. Upon entry, the government of Uganda will take charge. Yeah. People will be take place in the tournament. So yes, it is challenging. Registration is digital. Everything is digital. Scoring is digital. And we intend also to air this on TVs so that we can totally avoid spectators and fans on the course. Okay. Yes.
One interesting one. I mean, you've talked about a question I wanted to ask in terms of how ready you are, in terms of the facilities. But I can't walk away without asking, how excited are you about the course? I'm sure you've seen the course. How ready is the course? This is an international tournament, my friend. And it comes at a time when there hasn't been that much golf as we hoped we would have before. But how ready is the course? How excited are you? The greens, my friend.
Andrew, I must use this time to appreciate what Uganda Golf Club at Kitante has done. Yeah. The team has been, first of all, once we thought about the Open and concluded we're going to have the Open, we set up a committee that is composed of Uganda Golf Union and Uganda Golf Club. And we set all the standards. What happened is, right from the showers, right from the entrance, access control, to the greens, to everything, the course is looking fantastic, I must say. The greens have been worked on. The team has done a great work. We've been inspecting. We have 2 inspections that go on weekly to make sure that the course is what it is. We have rains going on, but we've ensured that even prior to the Open, courses are playing preferred lies. Preferred lies means that where there's water, you don't need to destroy the course. Where there's water, you need to prefer the ball so that you can save the course. Because the course is the facility that players and athletes would like to find in a perfect condition. Between you and me, Andrew, the course right now is in a perfect condition. The shower's in a perfect condition. We're going to set up rooms, places where people are handing in cards. Social distancing is a must. No fans. Caddies are all informed of what they need to do. All stakeholders have the information that is required to know that this game is going to be played different. The experience that the sponsors and Ugandans and athletes are going to get is totally different, but I can tell you, just like anybody else, I'm looking forward to a fantastic experience.
But Moses, do you understand the amount of pressure you must be under here? Yes, we shall have a football game in Chitende just on Thursday. But the Uganda Golf Union is pretty much setting the example for all sports disciplines in the country. You're welcoming a huge tournament at a time when sport is really resuming. You can't make mistakes here, my friend. You must be under more pressure because the entire nation is seeing how successful the Uganda Golf Open will be, so they can learn a thing or two.
Andrew, I agree with you 100%. We did invite National Council of Sports for a courtesy call-in sometime next week. We want them to come and inspect everything we put in place because we know that where we're going, which is the Uganda Open, the biggest championship in the premium event, is going to as well benchmark other sports disciplines. So we've called on our advice, the National Council of Sports to come and inspect and also give us more advice. We're open, we're learning, but we're steady. Yeah. We think we're ready as golf. Uganda Golf Union has put in everything that we can to ensure that this one will be a successful event. So the pressure is there, yes, but we work with the pressure. Yeah. COVID is here. We must live with it, but we must stay away from the disease. And golfers, or the golfing fraternity, is extremely a disciplined place. People know what is written must be followed. And we've taken time, enough time, we've had enough ample time to explain to the golfers what will happen. We've shared information packs across the world, across Ugandans, artisans, players, professionals, and everyone else, to make sure that when they come on the course, this is expected. Okay. It is part of the rules, and that shall happen.
Team Uganda, of course, will be hoping to wrestle it from Zambia and, for the professional, and of course from Kenya for the amateur. Let's talk a bit of golf now. What are you expecting from the tournament itself, from the players? And maybe you should try and explain to those watching the press box tonight who maybe haven't followed that much golf over the years, just how important and how huge the Uganda Open actually is, not just to the players, but Uganda's standing anywhere else in the world.
First, I must mention that right now Uganda Open is part of Safari Tour. Safari Tour. Safari Tour is a regional event, which subsequently is a European tour. So it is very big. If you're speaking global, it is global. Now, for the Ugandan athletes, especially the professionals from the Ugandan athletes.
Two final questions for you, Mr. President. One, before we started the interview, my producer here, Sean Stewart, was asking you about Ronaldo Tile. And you said something which originally was not part of my original script of questions, but you talked about sending some of these golfers out to schools, sending them out for more training. Just give me more detail on that. What is the Uganda Golf Union doing in this case? Because I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, right from my predecessors, we did see that Uganda had talent in golf. Yeah. So we thought, okay, fine. We've got the local competitions going on. Most of these artisans come from not very rich families. What must we do? So as a union, right from my predecessors, we set a pace as a going concern. We ensured that when players come right from junior, so we engage right from junior, go to amateur, and after you get to that, you must start thinking about the education. You must thinking about how to improve the game at an international level. So this is what Uganda Golf Union has done successfully. Right now, we have close to 10 players in the US. They're playing very well there. They're doing their education, and the program is on running. Okay. We're in partnership with several universities to ensure that this goes beyond just the US, South Africa, and other golf-playing countries. So I can proudly say that Otile might not be coming for this, but there's a lot of kids right now that are in his footsteps that are playing fantastic golf. And Uganda Golf Union is ensuring that through whatever establishment we have, we support these kids to take it to a global level.
My friend, let me get in some reactions that are happening online. Andrew Mangusha is standing by. My friend, tell me, the hashtag is NTV Pressbox today. What's happening?
Interesting discussion you're having over there, Andrew. The one big fan of the press box, Sir Fabien Pavez, is giving kudos actually to Mr. Matsiko and golf. And he says there's no shadow of doubt that golfers won't adhere to SOPs. It's a small crop of well-cultured, groomed, and self-aware individuals. And as far as testing for COVID is concerned, testing fee is pocket change for golfers. Wow. Can Matsiko confirm that? He'll get to that as well. I have one question for Matsiko, Andrew. Golf was one of the very first, sports to be given green light. Actually, as early as, if I remember well, July. And they were, playing. Why is it taking so much long for them to actually get going? Because they were supposed to start with the juniors and the ladies open in August, and then September, of course, the amateur and the pros then had to be pushed to sometime this month. Is it an issue of sponsorship, SOPs? What really didn't get them going? And he talks about sponsorship. It would be interesting for golfers for him to actually come through to how far they are to getting a sponsor, because without a sponsor, Uganda Open is quite not happening. So that's it there, and you have to get to respond to Sir Fabien Pavez there. He says COVID testing fee for golfers, pocket change.
I hope to see you here very shortly because we are going into another big debate. So please make your way to Studio A. Let me just say that. Yeah, I mean, pocket change for the golfing guys. Sententini.
Andrew, I wouldn't want to use I wouldn't want to borrow the phrase of pocket change. Money is money, and COVID has hit everybody hard financially. What I can say is that caused the reason as to why we engaged a service provider that can support those who can support themselves. But did it take so long for golf to now come into action? Yes. Remember, golf is played on nearly, like Kitante Golf Club is nearly 8,000 meters long. So if you have to prepare a golf course under strict SOPs, as you see, for the prevention of COVID, it's not just an easy job. So what we've been is we said, no, let's be patient and do something that is right. That's number one. Number two, I must say that we're glad to have a sponsor. Yes, we have a sponsor. The sponsors, as everybody knows, need to be convinced. We have gone back to Uganda Breweries through their TML brand, and they've been generous enough to come through. It takes time. Yeah. But historically, those are people that will understand you. Yeah. We're happy. We've got a couple of sponsors that are additional sponsors. We talk to them. All these engagements take a bit of time. Plus, like I said, the main thing here is protection, saving lives. So if you're going to do something and you're in a premier position of doing that, you better do it right. And that's what Uganda Golf Union has been trying to do. And golfers, you can't take them for granted. If there's nothing sufficient in line with the SOPs, they won't come, and they'll put up a challenge. So we ensure that all the SOPs are in place, and we ensure that we prepare the facilities with Uganda Golf Club to ensure that whatever is required is in place.
Mr. President, this is my final question. Let's conclude this way. First of all, your final message to the golfers out there, final message to the golfing fans out there, and also if you can quickly tell us about the tee-off really, so people can know about the specific dates, people can know when they can follow all these details coming through from Uganda Golf. Your final message really to the golfing fans.
All right, all I can say to the golfing flatante is that you're going to have an experience. COVID is here. Yes, we acknowledge that. It's dangerous. And as Uganda Golf Union, we've ensured that we put in place and we undertake to ensure that the implementation of Through the Open is under strict SOPs. The experience is going to be great. We're going to give you a virtual experience. We've teamed up with the right corporate organizations that will ensure that you get exactly what replaces what you used to get. Lastly, what I must say is that register, you know where to register, come and play, and safety is our number one during the Open.
Oh, there you go. We shall certainly be keeping a very, very close eye to the Uganda Open as well. And we shall host him, Mr. Moses Matsiko, once again in the future to talk more golf, because I've had so much reaction from you, the viewers. So many people want to start playing golf. So many people want to know what the rules of golf are. So we shall be discussing that later on here on the Press Box. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Andrew.
And we hope for all the best. We certainly shall be covering all the details from Chitanti as much as we can.
We appreciate it at Uganda Golf Union.
There you go. I'm joined now on the line by Max Alimaka. Once again, welcome to the show as we move on from the course to the pitch. Everyone's attention is setting off to St. Mary's